Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of GBear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. Yeah, that's Andy's motorhome. He's up visiting, and that's why I haven't posted for 3 days. We've been taking care of a few things up here, but the weather has gone south on us, and we even had rain the other day that we had to hunker down for. And right now we got more rain on the way, snow from the mountains, and wind. It's really windy. I mean, right now it's going to 17 miles per hour, and you can see the turbine up there is spinning. But I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to reach in so I don't have to go too far in. I'll zoom, and there's the readings right now that's coming off there. Let me see if I can block that glare. All right, so 0.0 watts in the bottom right corner. That's the output of that turbine. Now, the one that's flashing in the bottom left corner, 290.8, is the maximum watts that turbine had ever put out since it's been connected. So that's junk. I mean, total junk. And it's coming down. So I did buy the new turbine, 1685 water. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go over and show you. I also got a flat tire on my little cart there. The whole tire cracked, I guess, from the cold, but I got a new one here, a replacement, and I'll be changing that out as soon as I can. We had some sun here earlier, so I got to do some work, and I had to assemble the new PMA, or turbine, if you will, and I got it assembled here, and this is it. And this is a Thermodyne 1685 12-volt unit. You can see the sticker they give you with it, and this comes all on disassembled in a box. And even the blades, this is a 5-blade. It's called a KT5, the KT512, which is a 12-volt. And these blades are really sharp, so I don't want to mess with those. But I left those off because it'll be easier for me to handle this up there at the top of the pole when I get the scaffolding set up without the blades on there. And then I just take off this nut right here, slide the blades into place, and then lock it down. And in the front shaft, there's a hex nut there where you can put an Allen wrench in to hold it while you tighten it down. And then this is a 3-wire AC unit, and it uses 10-gauge wire, so I'm all set with that. All right, so I wanted to show you all of that stuff. I want to show you something else that I got. I did go over to the local mining store, and I met with Cindy Mandel and Lois Papner, and the two ladies run the store over there. Nice people. You might want to take some time to go over there and check them out. And I'm going to show you their card right here, and get my finger out of the way for the information. And this is the card for them. There's a website and all of that. You can go on there and sign up for some of their classes and things like that. They've got some pretty good stuff over there too. My friend Andy bought some stuff, and so did I. And one of the things I bought, and you're looking at right here, is this little mini power sluice. And this has a 12-volt pump in there. And I did test it out. I was running it earlier. So anyway, what you do with this thing is, I've got it set up right now with just this. I'll be putting a switch unit on it, but I kick that on, and there comes the water. And you can see the little spout on the top. It lets you know that you've got enough water pressure coming down this thing. And it washes down into this, this tub, so I don't lose anything, and then the water splashes out of there. So any heavies that get past this whole sluice will end up in the bottom of this bucket, and I can check those later. All right, so I'm not going to run anything through there right now because it takes 2 hands to do that. So I just wanted to show you that. Another thing that I picked up was a small pan, and this is a $7.95, and it's got the fines section on one side and then the coarse section on the other. There's my old pan I've had for years and years. And when you use one of these, it's recommended that you put it inside of the big one. So as you slosh it around, if anything tumbles out of it, it goes into the big pan. You could always repan it. Then the other thing I bought was a plastic shovel. And the reason I bought a plastic shovel is sometimes when you get a hit with your metal detector, you want to scoop down at that point, and then you can keep checking by dumping it into your hand and running your hand over your metal detector to see if it still sounds, until you keep doing that and dump a little bit until there's no more sound in here, and then you know which handful you've got to probe. Now here on the handle, you can see the little threaded area. Well, this unscrews, and I'll get that out of there. And they have a probe in there for digging in, getting into crevices between rocks and things like that. And let me pick that up. It has threads on the other side, so you can thread it back in the opposite direction and then use the handle to give you a little bit of extra leverage as you're working in to dig up and pick it out. Also, if the ground is a little hard, you want to break it up so you can get into it. All right. That's the other thing I wanted to show you. And let's see. I got a list here in my hand, so I'm checking that out. Excuse me while I make sure I didn't miss anything. I showed you the old turbine output, the new PMA, the shovel, the sluice, the small pan. I told you that Andy was here, and I told you about the weather. Okay, the last thing is I've decided that that pole is a two-piece pole, and it was fine for that little turbine. But for this big one, and we're talking probably 6 feet across on the hub, so that's a bigger unit, and it puts a lot of pressure on the pole. They recommend that you don't use a two-piece pole because it's weak at the thread points where the threads go into a coupler. So I've got this pole I brought up a long time ago. This is a 21-foot Schedule 80 gas pipe. It's a heavy-duty pipe. And this is 21 feet long. And I want to use the whole 21 feet above ground. Originally, this was going to go right there. And then I could never get it up onto that thing and thread it down. So it's been laying here ever since. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Home Depot and have them cut me a piece that's about 4 foot long that I can thread into that coupler, then I'll weld it. And then I'm going to bury that 4 feet in the ground in concrete after it's welded there, and the concrete will come above that coupler. So that coupler will actually be inside of the concrete, so I don't have a weak point anymore. And then I'll put my guy wires up high on the pole, and I'm going to put another set down halfway so this pipe never flexes from extra high winds that we have. And they'll all be set up there. Now on that one I only have the guy wires up high. But on this one, I'm going to have 2 sets of guy wires to make sure that that pole is nice and steady. This new PMA turbine will actually put out 1,685 watts of energy or power, which is 1.6 kilowatts, almost 1.7 kilowatts. And my solar is 1.45, I think. No, 1.345. So 13 and a half, that's 1.3 kilowatts, almost 1.4 kilowatts. And this is going to produce more at its peak than my solar. So like right now, I got both sun and solar running. I'm going to have a lot of electricity, so I've got to get my dump load set up, and I will be showing you how to connect that dump load. I have a few people that are interested in that. But I also bought a new rectifier, 3-phase to single-phase DC, 12 volt, and I got a new watt meter that'll handle the extra output on this thing. So what am I going to do with the extra energy? Well, in the winter, I can run an electric heater inside instead of a propane heater and save my propane so I can keep the cabin warm. And I can also run underground cables out to the chicken coop, and I could put a heating element inside of the chicken coop to keep them warm and a little happier in the winter. Although they grow lots of bushy feathers so that they're protected for the weather, and they don't care. They come out, I see them outside at 20 degrees just walking around pecking at the ground like it's nothing. Those fur coats they were born with do the job that they were supposed to do. All right, well, that's about all for right now. I did forget to say that this is February 10th, 2019, and that's from my friend Bill, who likes to keep track of what dates I put these videos out. And that's all there is to it. Remember, if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up down there, please. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm shooting for 5,000 subscribers by the year 2000. So I want to do that. And I can only do it with the help of you guys. We've got a lot of interesting stuff coming up. The wind tore the wires that were holding my sunshade up, but I'm going to have a second sunshade going on there, so I'm going to bolt them together at the center so that they don't have to worry about them breaking apart anymore. And I'm also going to be extending my grow house, doubling its size, and putting in a permanent tree plant area dead center of this one. Then I'll be able to walk from one end to the other, and my vegetables will be grown in the second one. And I'll have a glass house either off to the side of that one or maybe even inside of it, so I can grow stuff through the winter. All right, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to ramble on any longer. GBear signing off.